Welcome back to Shem's Universe. So today, guys, we're going to go over how to win in 2025 using astrology and numerology. So everybody always questions like, okay, how do I win? How do I forecast? Do I go to an astrologer and just tell them to tell me what's going to happen next year? Like, the answer is no. The thing is that you have to figure it out for yourself in numerous different ways. I can advise you, other numerologists can advise you, astrologists can advise you, but we all know the saying, God helps those who help themselves. And that's the thing, is that you have to sort of study this content, this stuff yourself, and then start bridging connections and correlating things with your own individual life, and then see how it can work for you. So you can gain a lot of momentum by doing this. There's a few different ways I want to illustrate today that you can dominate 2025 simply by knowing certain things. So one major thing is this, is that your transit report, of course, is going to be extremely important. Once you know what your rising sign is, for a transit report to be appropriate and correct, you have to know what your rising sign is. So you need to know the exact minute you're born. If you don't, it's going to be completely incorrect. It's not right. Once you know that, you then can move over and say, okay, I can look at health for that year, family life, marital life, domestics, certain things like that as well, finance, business, career, education. All of these things could be, I guess, covered. I do it with my transit report particularly. I cover each of those facets as a topic, but you can go to anybody for it, or you can even do it yourself just by looking online and saying rising sign, whatever, Sagittarius, what's my transit for that year, 2025, right? And you'll see a bunch of different websites come up, and you'll see content that will relay that set of information to you. Like maybe in April, you're supposed to take more risks with money. Maybe it may need to be low key with your health. It's all this type of stuff. So if you understand your transit, that's probably, I would say, one of the best ways to navigate a year is by working in tandem with that. The reason it's the most accurate is because it's using your rising sign that's based off the minute you're born. Your moon sign can be changed from day to day. Usually it's a few days that somebody's moon sign is the same. And then you have the sun sign, which is like 3-4 weeks of the same thing. So it's not really that accurate at all. The next way you can look at in respects to how to navigate 2025, you can use Chinese astrology as well. What I would say is use your year. Yes, like I'm year of the dog, true. It's been a dragon year. It hasn't been scary at all. It's been great. But you got to look at what month you're born. Like I'm born in May, which is the snake month. So next year is going to be very fun for me regardless, right? So you got to look at like your year animal, but also your month animal to get specifics about how to navigate. Because if you have, like, let's say a month animal, it's the same as the universal energy of that year, you're still going to do very well. Or if you have a year animal that's at least in some sort of trine with the set animal that's running things, like for instance, next year's like the snake, then of course, if you're in the snake's trine, you'll do very, very well. If you're not and you're in opposition to it, you're in the ops trine, then you might have a bit of a hard time, but you can still navigate around it by using your transit. So nonetheless, you could still win. It doesn't really matter. After that, I'd say use the transit. You can use Chinese astrology for sure to look at the animals and look at how you relate with them. And then over both of those, the most important one I would say is numerology. And there's a couple of ways to now look at this. Your life path number is in direct connection with the universal year energy. So I'm a life path 8. I'm in a universal year 8. Ta-da! I did great on YouTube. I did great in crypto. I did great in everything I tried to do this year. No shit, even though it was a enemy year for me. Numerology supersedes astrology in all respects. So when you look at that, you have to look at, does my life path number agree with the 9? Am I a 3, 6, or 9? That's how you have to look at it. If you're a life path 3, 6, or 9, you're going to do the best next year. All of us have to just tackle through. If you're a life path 7, life path 2/11, you're going to have a harder time next year. You need to be very, very careful and be diligent with how you move. You obviously, again, if you're in your enemy year, life path wise, then all you have to do is now go back to the transit report and then see how to navigate once again. It'll give you the description about when to do certain things, when to not. So I'd say the numerology and the transit is almost tied, because the transit is the solution even if you're in an enemy year or a friendly year. So the transit's really the synonymous one that makes everything come together. You also can navigate your year using numerology in different ways as well. Once you understand that your personal year starts on your birthday and not the universal new year, which makes no sense. Why? How is it personal to you if it's in the universal new year? January 1st is everybody's New Year's. Your New Year's is your birthday. That's your personal year, okay? You have personal months as well. Meaning, if you're born, I'm born May 25th. So my first May 25th to June 25th is my personal year 1. Then June 25th to July 25th is personal month 2. I said personal year before, personal month, excuse me. So personal month 1, then personal month 2, and it keeps going. So when you understand that, you start realizing, okay, now I can use my personal months to my advantage. Meaning, you know, if you're in a personal month 8, for instance, and you're a life path, let's say 8 or 6 or whatever, or 5, you're gonna have a very easy time in a personal month 8, to do good things. You also need to look at like your personal year that you're in, meaning when you add your full birthday to the current year. So next year I'll be in a personal year 3 because I'm May 25th, and then adding that to 2025 altogether adds that to 3. So you have to look at those things, your personal months, your personal years. You can look at your transits, you can look at Chinese astrology. Those are 4 different ways I've given you right now. And the 5th and final one is by now doing directly day-to-day mapping out. What day is it today? For instance, like today is December 18th, 2024. So the way you have to look at that is it's a 9-day, cool, but what's the governor of the entire day? What's the date add to? The date adds technically to 20, which is like a hidden 11 to a certain extent. 2-0 amplified 2. It's a highly emotional day. It's a day where you don't want to be making a lot of mistakes when it comes to drawing into your emotions. So you have to look at that each day. Does my life path agree with the life path of the day? And does my birth number agree with the birth number or the partial energy of the day? When you start mapping those things out, now you have a day-to-day way of looking at things. You have a monthly way of knowing what your personal month is. You have a yearly personal year. And then you have your life path to compare to the universal year itself to see if it's going to be an overall good year for you or not, starting from January 1st, 2025. And you also have the transit reports that you can utilize to then map out how you deal with each month, each week, each day in respects to when to lay low, when to take a lot of risks, when to watch out for health, and all of those things, etc. So I hope this does help you guys. I know it sounds like a lot, but all you need to do is, even if you use one of the things I've suggested, you'll have a lot easier time navigating your year. But you have to have a strategy of some sort. Don't just be watching my content or watching other guys that are doing this stuff and then not actually using it on a day-to-day basis to map out how you get things done. Even down to the time that when you wake up should be in tandem with your life path, low-key, or at least your birth number. I usually get up at 7 or 8 because I'm May 25th, 1994, which means I'm a 7 birth number. So I either get up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and that optimizes me for money. If I want to get up extra early, I'll get up at 5:30, not 6. I'll get up at 5:30 because it adds to 8 when I want to make a lot of money in the day. So it shows the 8 discipline and I'm sacrificing. So you can use all of these things, everything, numerics and everything, symbolisms and everything. You can use these things to actually navigate your life and then have leverage, because a lot of people don't know this stuff yet. Next year, it's going to be a year of enlightenment because it's a 9 year. So a lot of people are going to start learning about it. But you guys already have a head start if you're seeing this video. So start mapping out your life, whether you get a reading from me, somebody else, or even just doing the research for yourself. That's what I want you guys really to do, is be able to weaponize and do it yourself, not even use me. And then that's when you're going to be the strongest version of yourself and the most competent. All right, so that does finalize the video for today, guys. If you have any questions for me, please just leave it in the comment section. Aside from that, like, subscribe. Holla at me. It's it for today, guys. Peace.